welcome to the Limitless Landscapers podcast. I'm Paula, your host, the Landscapers coach. And today I'm here with Jon. Jon owns a garden design business called Jon Norman Garden Design. But secretly, he's a bit of a geek on SEO and LinkedIn, actually. We thought we would share his journey and some quick wins that you might be able to do in your design and landscaping business. And yeah, I think you're going to love the show. So let's go to the show. As the co-founders of the Landscaper Circle, we help you get more money, time, and freedom to become limitless. Through our experiences as fellow landscapers and our tried and tested methods, if you want help with your marketing, managing, or growing your business, you've definitely come to the right place. If you're a landscaper, garden designer, or supplier to the industry, then hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. Now, let's get back to the show. Hello, Jon. Welcome.
Hi, Paula. Nice to be here.
Good. Let's start the ball rolling with, let's find out a bit about you. So tell us more. What is Jon Norman Garden Design?
Yeah, Jon Norman Garden Design is my little business that I'm running in Coventry. I've officially been around for a year and I'm slowly and steadily getting some business now, but it has taken a while. But yes, I'm getting going, and I basically do garden design in and around Coventry, Warwickshire, Stratford area. So that's me.
Yes, and I met Jon, just to give a bit of background, when he came and joined the Landscaper Circle. So when TLC was the Landscaper Circle, Jon was one of my clients. We did group coaching sessions together and got all involved. And that's when I found out a bit more about Jon. And I found out that he loves SEO.
I do.
You love SEO. For anyone who doesn't know what SEO is, it's search engine optimization. And Jon often shared some of his wins because back then you hadn't quite set the business up, had you?
No. When I first joined, I think realistically my sort of association with you, Paula, went all the way back to probably your very first webinar or something you did with Charlotte way back in the day. And that sort of piqued my interest. And then, yeah, I joined up with Landscaper Circle. And I think you found out that I was a geek, a computer geek. And a bit of background on me, prior to me actually doing the garden designy stuff, I spent around about 25 years as an IT trainer. So I know my things, and it's not left me alone, and I still apply it to the job currently. And yeah, when something like SEO or anything webby comes up, I'm going, ooh, geek out, and I'm enjoying doing it.
Yeah, it was really interesting because we had many conversations, didn't we, during group coaching sessions about things that we could do SEO wise, and you started applying all this.
I did.
Business, yeah. So what I wanted to share with people, because some people really get scared of SEO, and of course I always advocate that if you're not good at something, definitely outsource. But it's also good to know what you're talking about, because most people, landscapers, garden designers and the like, they hire someone for SEO who promises them the world, but they don't actually know what they're doing, what they're getting for their money. By talking to you today, I thought we'd give them a bit of a SEO 101 sort of thing.
Okay, yeah.
Get people less scared of the term SEO, less scared of what it means, but also the benefits it can bring when you apply it to a small business like ours.
Yeah, I can definitely say, hand on my heart, that SEO actually works. It's doing good for my business. It's bringing in a steady, I wouldn't say an overwhelming, but as I'm starting out, that's actually exactly what I need, a steady stream of inquiries. And I can also say it's definitely SEO that's worked and not any social media stuff, because I have got my head around it, but I haven't implemented it as much as I should do. I'm not social mediaing, I'm just literally saying, here's my website and it's ranking on Google. Enough to, I've actually won some keywords. I'll talk about keywords in a minute, but I've actually managed to rank those at number 1, which is very scary. So top of the Google chart. That is cool. Top of the Google charts on certain things, and it's got me enough sort of business to do what needs to be done. So SEO, search engine optimization, basically it's ensuring or optimizing your website so that Google goes, okay, you're actually cool enough to rank high up our chart so that if somebody searches for something, you crop up. That's the basic sort of idea of it. It has changed probably since we actually last spoke, because that's what happens with these
always
things.
Changing, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. So to break it down, basically if you're wanting to get ranked, to get high on the search engine system, you basically have to have a web page that is strong enough to be picked up by Google by what are known as keywords. And
Yep.
a keyword is basically what you type into Google to find something. So for example, as in my case, garden design. But you won't necessarily rank if what you actually provide to Google is rubbish. So back in the old days, when this thing was new, I could have probably done a page that probably said, Jon Norman, garden design. Jon Norman is a garden designer. He's a garden designer who does this. Hey, look at his garden design. So I'm putting the keyword in more times than you can shake a stick at. That would have worked back in the day. It doesn't anymore because people complain to Google saying, I don't want this rubbish, I want something sensible. So Google are now not just looking for the keyword that you still have to put in, they're actually looking for content that's good.
Yes.
So the thing that makes Google go okay is you have to provide interesting, informative content. And that's not necessarily just your normal standard web pages, it's the other stuff you've got to do. So if you do want to rank highly, you'll need a blog.
Yeah.
And you need to put stuff in your blog out fairly regularly to enable Google to understand it. And what you've got to put in your blog is not just general stuff, you've got to put in good stuff.
Informative, interesting.
Informative, yes,
Yeah.
that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got blogs, we got keywords.
Yes.
What
Sorry?
What else from SEO? What else comes under this banner of SEO?
Yeah. Okay. So firstly, it's finding keywords. So you can't just, you've got to think about your audience and you've got to try and think about what your audience are going to want to know about and what they're going to write basically into the Google search engine. So are they actually going to search for garden design, or are they more likely to say garden designer in Coventry, or landscape designer in Coventry, or I don't know, somebody what can make gardens in Coventry? That's a bit of a rubbish keyword idea, but it's that sort of thing. So the other thing is with keywords, you can't just go for what everybody else does. So garden design for me, and probably for any other garden design, you think, right, all I've got to do is stick garden design in the relative places. Unfortunately, there are tons and tons and tons of garden designers out there. So just putting the word garden design in probably means I will rank very low in the scale. Okay. However, if I am putting in something more about me in terms of what I do, so it could be something such as small garden design and garden design, wildlife garden design, nature garden design. Those are keywords that are less likely to be typed into Google and more likely, if you actually put those into your article, to rank higher. In fact, there's 3 levels, and I ought to have had myself a cheat sheet here for this one, but I didn't. So there's 3 levels of keywords. You've got the sort of top level, which are the very simple terms that you can't rank for because everybody else tries to do it, or what are called the sort of medium size ones, or what are called long tail keywords, which are the combinations of phrases such as garden designer in Coventry, wildlife garden designer, Coventry, or something like that. Those are the ones you want to put into your info to basically get yourself ranked for.
Cool. What about, is it worthwhile, and what should you be doing?
Google My Business is worthwhile.
Okay.
Simply because part of what Google does with what are called their search engine results pages, or as the geeks amongst us like to say, SERP. I'm not going to use that again. And they keep tweaking these as they go along. One of the things you'll find, if you ever type something into Google, let's say you did garden designer Coventry, I bet you that the first 5 or 6 things will be adverts for garden design companies locally. You might then get a collection of blocks of things that would actually be the Google My Business pages for local people. So it's a crazy algorithm. It works out roughly where you are and then works out roughly what's close and then pops up a snippet, as it's called, of info. So you need a Google My Business page so that your business can rank as a kind of almost like a pop-up on the Google page that says, that's a worthwhile company.
Yeah.
And the great thing is you can put all sorts of useful things in, such as your phone number, your website, and you can put photographs, opening times, all sorts of things, directions there.
Can't you?
Sorry, Paula.
You can do posts, can't you? And
you can do posts, you can do little sort of mini articles, and it's like its own little mini website. And what I would actually say is probably more than your own website, getting that done right is actually a better thing to do than your website itself. But I'm not saying do that and don't do your website. You need both. You need both. But it's like a kind of mini homepage that people can find directly on Google, and probably might even just flick through it and see all the stuff that's in there, because the pictures from your website will crop up, little articles from your website will crop up in it. So they can find out enough about you without even going to your website. But again, both are very important.
Yeah, and reviews pop up on there as well, don't they?
Oh, they do.
And
so,
would you say reviews are a good way to boost SEO, or does that just help?
No, Google likes reviews, especially if it's Google reviews, because Google likes Google. So if you get good Google reviews, yes, that jumps you up the list. Bad Google reviews, it drops you down a little bit. It's not the be all and end all, as long as you respond to the review. So if you do get an annoying 1 star, usually anybody can review. I know some very, very good top-notch garden designers London way, and they've got some awful Google reviews, and it's just people having a go, trolling, and it's a shame because it's ruined what would have been a perfect 5-star score. But as long as you respond, and the people I know just said, we have no record of who you are, so we don't know. We're very sorry if you had a bad time with us, but as far as we know, you're not a customer.
Yes.
But as long as you respond, Google's happy with that.
Okay. And then to get to page 1, everyone thinks this is like the holy grail of SEO, isn't it? And every company promises page 1 of Google.
Yeah.
How could you get I know you can, but how would you go about getting your website to the first page of Google?
Getting your website to the first page of Google takes you probably around about 6 to 9 months of hard work. I'm holding my hand up here and saying that was how I got there. It takes a lot of research. You've got to find your keywords. You've got to then understand not only what the keywords are, but what other keywords might be related to that.
Yeah.
Good way to find it for free, just go into Google, type in, I don't know, garden design, and you'll see something that says, oh, what other people are looking for, or the other things they're doing. Or even if you start typing garden design into the search bar, you'll get a whole bunch of other search terms popping up. Either screen grab them or make a note of them. Those are other things you want to put into the same page, so that you not only rank for garden design, you rank for garden design near me, or garden design Coventry, or whatever else people are doing, or urban garden design. So it's a sort of, people also ask for things that are very useful, what's known as semantic keywords. So and it's a case of trying to pepper those bits of keywords into your wording so that they crop up somewhere. You don't have to do many of them, just 1 or 2. But you've also got to, again, try and not make it sound a bit robotic when you write. It's got to still be human and English. Yeah. So that will help you. So to get to number 1, it's about how your web page is structured. So I'm now going to go a bit into HTML 101 for everybody for a second. So on a web page, there are various tags behind the scenes. Now, you don't have to know a huge amount about these. Most sort of web hosting systems like WordPress will give you an idea of where you go. So there's basically the title tag. So that's the actual thing that if you see your web page when it pops up, there's a sort of little tab in Google that says, I don't know, Aura Landscapes, blah, 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 I don't know how you have in your Aura Landscapes, Superfab Garden Design stuff, whatever yours says. That's your title tag. If you can put your keyword in there, that helps. Okay. Then there's what's called the meta description. So the meta description is, if you see your website in Google, there'll be the title, then a little description underneath. If your keyword goes in there, that also helps. But it's also got to be written in a way that makes sense to people and doesn't just have the keyword out of nowhere. Then when you actually land on your page, should be structured with, as far as everything goes, it's just literally headings and content. The structure is heading tags going from what's the top heading tag or the H1 tag, secondary heading tags H2s, tertiaries H3s, H4s, and so on down to, if you fancy going all the way down to H6. You can only have 1 H1 on your document. If you do 2, Google will go, what the hell, and penalise you. So it's got to be structured right. So for each H1, you've got to have H2s underneath the subheadings. For each H2 subheading, you've got to have H3s, and H4s have to be subheadings of those. You can't mix and match, people do. I've accidentally done it myself. It's not a major issue, but Google prefers the structure.
Yeah.
Okay. So the idea is, again, going to your keyword, whatever it happens to be, it's got to go in the H1. Definitely. It's then got to go at least into one or two H2s somewhere, but you might want to smatter it with a bit more wording. And if you can get it down into maybe a couple of H3s without it looking too unwieldy wording wise, that's good. Also, if you can stick it into a couple of paragraphs, even better.
Yeah.
And that will basically optimize your page reasonably well for Google to find. The other way to cheat a little bit is if you can put your keyword in an image. So your image has what's called alternate text. The alternate text is there to describe your image for folks who are visually impaired and actually will listen to your web page as opposed to actually see it. So if you can put a bit of your keyword in one of those images, at least one on your page, you're laughing. Okay. And as a big bonus tip, if you're into YouTube, which I'm trying to be, and make yourself a YouTube video that might perhaps describe your website in some way and put that in your website. One, that helps your rankings anyway, because people like videos, but you could put the YouTube itself has keywording features. So you can put all your keywords into YouTube videos, stick it inside your website. And again, it just gives Google more and more chance to find your page based on a single keyword. Cool. So there you go.
Do all that. You'll be
Sorry.
Do all that and you might get to page 1.
You might get to page 1, but it's not a guarantee.
No.
It's not a guarantee. The other aspect is if you can get people, if you can link out from your website to other people, that kind of gives Google the feeling that you actually are citing other people's work. That creates links to other sites, and that again helps you rank.
Yes.
Also, if you can get what are called backlinks, which are links from websites back to your site, that really helps you because Google then goes, oh, there's somebody else linking to you, so you must actually be quite a good thing.
Yeah.
But not all backlinks are equal. So if you can get really good websites to backlink to you, so in the garden industry, you're probably thinking like the Society of Garden Designers website or one of the big magazines like Home and Garden, they will give you a really big boost. But any link is good.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter, especially for local SEO, which is just anybody trying to find you locally. Any link will do.
Okay. That's good to know. Cool. Any other tips on SEO before we go into my other discussion with you?
Yeah, there's a lot of info out there about SEO.
Yeah.
Tons of info out there about SEO, and not all info is equal.
No.
I have spent a lot of my time bashing my head against a brick wall thinking, this guy said it's great here, and it turned out to be fairly hopeless.
Yes.
Of the people I found out about, there's probably a real good couple that I would say, if you want to give yourself a start point about finding out what it's all about and getting yourself at least some points to then go and find other stuff, I'll mention these guys. So there's a chap called Brian Dean. He does do videos. I think he does them through either his own stuff or he gets connected with one of the search engine tools called SEMrush. But yeah, have a look on YouTube, look for Brian Dean, see what he does. He's very good. But if you can actually go to Brian Dean's own website, he's got the most awesome blogs on absolutely everything about SEO and absolutely everything about content marketing. He's probably the definitive guy who knows all about it. The blogs are huge, so they're not perhaps the easiest thing to read on screen, but every blog post he does, he says, if you want to download your PDF, you can download it, print it off and have a reading. They are. I mean, we're talking 30 odd pages just on this, but it's good stuff. It's really good stuff, and it's the top stuff. Other than that, I'll mention two people. One is a chap called Andy Crestodina.
Oh, I haven't heard of him.
He's brilliant. Andy Crestodina, he's fantastic. He's over in Chicago and he owns a web company there. And I only came across him because I'm going to talk about LinkedIn and the lovely connectability here. I only came across him through LinkedIn and I thought, who's this guy? Found him on YouTube. Worth having a look for him on YouTube under Orbit Media Studios or potentially under Crestodina. He's very good. But the blogs from that particular site are absolutely epic about not only just doing SEO, it's about how to actually structure your web page to get people
Okay.
to look. So there's fantastic things such as the weirdest thing about if you ought to also have your website organized for mobile, but he was talking about the most optimized thumb position browsing on a mobile phone. So where you should put your call to action button is
Yeah.
there. That's just one example. It's other things such as if you put pictures in, people will, if you've got a picture of a person, people will follow the eyes of that person to something. If you put a button from where their eyes point to, that makes them click
Oh,
more.
really?
Yeah, and it's down to the colours of your buttons. It's awesome.
Everything.
It's
Yeah.
awesome. It really is good. So have a look for him. And I'd also recommend, it's called Content Chemistry.
Okay.
Content Chemistry, Andy Crestodina. I think you can order it directly from him. I did. It's not too expensive and it's superb. It really is absolutely excellent. Tells you everything you need to know.
Cool.
But there's one more.
I know. There is one more.
There is one more. Jammy Digital.
I haven't heard of that one either.
Now, again, this is a connection from a connection.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard of these guys till very recently, but a married couple who do web design up in Newcastle, and they've got a little company called Jammy Digital, which does SEO and marketing, whatever. They'd probably be quite a good one for anybody connecting with them. But their blog is incredible. It's like the stuff you got from the Andy Crestodina is all the kind of technical how-tos of where you position stuff. But the thing I would say is slightly missing is what you write.
Yeah.
These guys do just blogs and blogs of what to write and why and how and what you should write here and what you should write there. It's just full of stuff. So those three, and they're all fairly recent things. I'm really loving what they do, and I think it's a good one for all of you guys to have a look at and see what you think.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And seamlessly, we go on.
Yes.
We go on to how you found these people, which is through connections on LinkedIn. Now,
yes.
I profess I do not utilize LinkedIn to its full potential, not at all. I spend very little time there. My favorite platform is Instagram. That's just my third platform. I'd find it easier. For you, I've noticed that you have grown LinkedIn for yourself and your business.
Yes.
Fairly steadily. And I've seen your business developing using LinkedIn, and it's really very interesting. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, LinkedIn, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's gone from being a very stuffy, rather boring, businessy based to a really fluid, really interesting social media platform.
Yes.
It's not, and what I absolutely love about it is it stopped being stuffy. It's actually got really friendly, and people are starting to chat and stick emojis in, and it's a lot nicer. It's developed this, I think, really since the lockdown.
Yeah.
And people were sitting behind their screen going, now what do I do? And started going on LinkedIn to perhaps maybe talk to their old colleagues, because that was a way to do it, and it started to grow. Microsoft have also taken over from it, from the original things, and they've put a lot of money and effort and everything in. So it's now grown from sort of the thousands into pretty much 1 billion people. And the scary thing is this is 1 billion people with business interests.
Yes.
And the even better thing is it's 1 billion real people. As opposed to, if you go to Twitter these days, what was it today? Twitter's an interesting place. I quite like Twitter there's a nice gardening community on there that I like. I talk to various people on there regularly. But it's a hellscape now since Elon Musk took over. It's a bit of a hellscape. And you don't know if the people are actually real or not. There's an awful lot of bots. Yeah. Same can actually be said for Instagram.
Oh, really?
Okay. Oh, yes. I've been botified myself. Don't know if that's a good word for it.
Yeah.
It's a term. I've actually, basically, somebody has tried to impersonate me and tried to connect up with the followers I've got. Basically, because I think it's the same guy. Somebody impersonated somebody else I know on there, and I called him out.
Yeah.
And I think, no, I'm going to impersonate you. It's like, great, thanks. So there are bots on there. I got really excited one day. Matt Keatley, don't know if you know Matt Keatley, who does, he's a very famous garden designer in London.
Right. Okay.
Won a couple of Chelsea Golds. Does some very clever garden designs. And I had this little message saying, Matt Keatley would like to say hi. And I thought, oh, great.
Yes.
No, wasn't. Matt Keatley #1. It was a complete fake bot account. And it's like, there's me chatting away to this individual. Yeah, until he started talking about drugs, I thought, okay, you're not who you say you
Not
are.
the guy.
Not the guy. So that was a lesson learned. So yes, back to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is definitely full of real people. You can't not be a real person because they will
Yes.
penalise you something rotten. So the beauty of LinkedIn is it's a place to interact with other business people about yourself, your business, what you do, and how you promote it. And I've found it to be quite incredible. I'll talk about interconnected bits.
Yeah.
If I wasn't on LinkedIn, I wouldn't have followed somebody weirdly over in Argentina, but she does some very nice posts on how to post on LinkedIn. So, okay,
Yeah.
I'll follow. You can follow people like you can follow elsewhere. We can connect with people. So I followed her, and it was just one of these posts pointing out this bloke called Andy Crestodina. It's like one of those, oh, me being me, who's that? Wow. And now I found out all about him. But my business and connections have been really boosted by it. And it's mainly the connections on connections on connections. So through LinkedIn, I've got connected to Coventry and Warwickshire Chamber of Commerce. Through Coventry and Warwickshire Chamber of Commerce, I got on a program that they did for small businesses. It was literally when I first started off doing the business as a limited company. I said, jump on board. That gave me all sorts of useful stuff, including lots and lots of, what were they? Webinars and things on certain products, like how to do Instagram, how to do Facebook, and how to do LinkedIn. The LinkedIn one was run by a guy called Gus Bandel, Bhandal. Fantastic guy, one of the funniest, and I'm saying this funniest because he is funny, funniest, most informative things I've ever done. It was like, whoa, that's cool. And he said to all the members on this particular session, he said, jump in on LinkedIn, connect with me, I'll connect with you. I said, great, so I did. And then we just started chatting. And it's through him that he said, oh, I'm going to do this. Or is it going to do a masterclass? And he's literally local to me. He's only about 3 streets down the road from me, which is quite nice. And he said, I'm going to do this masterclass over in one of the Coventry theatres. Do you fancy going? Okay, yeah, fine, fair enough. Turned up, lots of lovely people, got to meet another lovely bunch of people. So this is again the sort of LinkedIn connection. And then in meeting those guys, they said, oh, we've got this networking group. Do you want to join? Okay. So yes, so I'm now part of a networking group. And that networking group is then going to lead me to another networking group who actually are more property based. So that's going to be really good for me to take my business to people who actually build things.
Yeah.
So it's that sort of interconnectivity that's pretty good. And it's again through Gus, I heard of a chap called Jon Norman. Now, if you want to know anything serious on LinkedIn, this is for everybody, go and find Jon Norman, Espirian. I think I got that right. And he's superb. And he does his LinkedIn account's really good, full of informative stuff, but also have a look at his website. And that's got loads and loads of things in. Connect up with him. He'll more than happily connect straight back to you. And he's another great guy for info. And it was him that led me on to, I don't know if Paul, have you heard of Andrew and Pete?
No.
No. Andrew and Pete do, Pete Gartland and Andrew Pickering. They run a small business, I'm trying to think the best way of describing it. It's a sort of online community. They're really good. And they've got lots of things that I've found ever so useful to help me get my sort of self-focus. So they've done that. And it's through those guys that I then found out about the Jammy Digital Bunch.
Yeah.
So it's the weird sort of, what I love about LinkedIn, it's the connections and the links and the interconnectability and the fact that I've got invited through LinkedIn onto at least 2, 3 now networking sessions.
Yeah.
And those have actually then led on to business and contacts and stuff. So
it's all about
it's worth doing. It's all about connections. Yeah.
And that is something you don't get on Facebook and Instagram. You don't get that connection based marketing, I suppose. This is more people driven, like you say. It's more personal. It's
the old adage: people do business with people.
Yeah.
People buy from people. I think Facebook, I'm a member of Facebook too, so I find that useful, but I don't interact much.
For me.
I'm not a fan, and I think that's to say everybody lurks on Facebook.
Yeah, it's a
In
lurker's paradise.
it is a lurker's paradise. It's great. It's not great. It's useful. There's some nice things out there. When people do contribute, I can go, okay, I can find the info out. It's quite useful for that. But yeah, I don't spend any time really engaging on it at all.
So with
Instagram a bit, but
yeah, I think
yeah,
Instagram is good for pictures. So in the
it's
industry, posting out lovely pictures, you get some interaction, some likes, you get some follows
yeah,
probably to your web page, but you're not actually, I personally very rarely interact beyond that with people on
yeah,
Instagram, but on LinkedIn, I will message people, respond to people
yeah,
messaging. So it's
yeah.
much more conversation opener.
Yeah, it's also the brilliant thing about LinkedIn, I think, is where, okay, the other platforms, Facebook's probably the exception, but things like Instagram or Twitter, you're just posting to the entire world and hope that somebody might see it. If you're posting onto Facebook, there's obviously the group, so you're more likely to catch the audience. But again, it's broad smattering, I think.
Yeah.
The beauty of LinkedIn is you can actually basically build your own following, exactly get who you want to talk to and why.
Yeah.
And the algorithm is actually quite easy to work out. If you comment on particular people's posts, you'll get more of them. If you
Mm-hmm.
like people's posts, you'll get more of the same thing.
Yeah.
If you start linking with people who are in the landscape industry, then those landscape industry people will come and see you.
Yeah.
And I've got about 3 or 4 phone calls this week from people who've seen me, talk to me, and said, "Oh, I gather so. I've got a project that wants a fairly high-tech pergola in it. So I've seen something. So, oh, that looks quite good. Oh, we'll give you a phone call and we'll send you stuff." So
Yeah.
it's nice like that.
No, it's good. For me, I recently actually, I don't use LinkedIn quite so much as I need to, but that's on my plan and strategy moving
Yeah,
forward, particularly as the landscapers coach, as well as for my landscaping business, but more so from the coaching perspective. And it was interesting because, again, like you say, I'm not on there all the time at all. And I connected with a lady years ago called Pam. And I can't even remember where I first met her, probably at a networking event, probably about 6, 7, maybe even 8 years ago. And she now is an NLP practitioner. And she invited me and obviously lots of other people to a masterclass to gain accreditation in one part of NLP. It was about limiting beliefs.
yeah,
It's something that I'm really interested in. It's something that I think everyone has. So I thought, oh, I'll go along and I'll tell you what, it was one of the best webinars I went on. I obviously
yeah.
got a CPD accreditation certificate at the end of it. So that's great. And I really enjoyed it. And yet I hadn't seen any posts on Instagram, hadn't seen anything on Facebook. It was just, she purely, I
Yeah,
think, her
yeah.
strategy was just on LinkedIn and it worked. And she had over 200 people attend these
Wow.
webinars, which is insane. So the power of LinkedIn, I think, is like you say, I think people think back to when it was a very stuffy space, when you
Yes.
couldn't be vulnerable, you couldn't be,
Yeah.
it was very much you have to be very business. And yes, it's still a business platform, so I wouldn't be posting pictures of my dinner, but you can be your authentic self
Yeah.
without fear of judgment, I feel.
Yeah.
And I personally am much more enjoying the posts on LinkedIn now than
Yeah.
I was maybe a few years ago. So with regards LinkedIn and kind of strategy wise, what would be your kind of top tips? If I'm personally thinking of getting back on the LinkedIn bus, so to speak, what
Yes. Yeah.
would big tips be for someone like me
First,
to get back in it?
first, first thing you need to do is get your profile optimized and sorted. It's the thing that it's effectively your kind of LinkedIn web page, your little LinkedIn homepage. So it's got to talk about what you do. And there are, I'm not going to quote any numbers because I would say I'm more of a LinkedIn enthusiast than an expert.
Yes.
And I would say again, if you want to know all the for the real geeky stuff, go and look at Jon Esperian's site because he's got there is only X number of words that you write in your kind of title for yourself, and only X number of those appear in a mobile device before you get the dot more whatevers. But yeah, the idea is to make sure that you talk about yourself, and make sure your profile looks good. The main thing is you've got to have a photograph that looks like you, and not have a photograph, as I have seen, of you looking skiing on a ski lift in the distance, which so it's got to look like you. It's things like the banner is a brilliant piece of real estate that you can
Yeah.
actually put your name, phone numbers. You can even put a web link in as long as it's something that is very quick for people to type, because there's no links.
Yes.
Your description about yourself has got to talk about yourself in a nice, positive way.
Yeah.
And basically try and talk about what you do, how you do it, and how it helps people. So it's the same sort of thing that you try and do with anything you try and do on social media and on your webpage. It's about the client, not about you.
Yes. So it's about how we're
That's
seeing other people.
yeah, and it's the same with your when you talk about your old jobs and stuff. Don't go, oh, as the managing director of X and Y and Z. You say, yes, I was MD of whatever, and with this role, I helped, and try and point it to information or help your ideal clients go, oh yeah, maybe he knows his stuff. But I mean, it's a lot to LinkedIn. There's a huge
Oh, there
amount to
is.
LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
It
And
goes on forever.
how often do you post on LinkedIn, if you don't mind?
Up until recently, once in a bit of a blue moon.
Mm-hmm.
I talking about my guy Gus. When I went on his webinar, I thought, right, I'll do some stuff, and then you lapse. And to be honest, at the time, trying to get the business started, there was so much of trying to learn and understand. It was I'm just going to leave that to one side. I've gone through that phase now and feel so much more confident being able to actually go and talk to clients. I'm not so worried about that now. I'm actually able to go, okay, LinkedIn. So when I did his little masterclass in the theatre, I thought, right, now let's get going. So I'm now trying to post, and I've been posting probably about once a day, maybe once every 2 days. So
Okay.
I did a couple of posts yesterday, actually. I did one today about us doing our thing. I'll probably do another one to say, hey, it's there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes, when it gets released. Or today, as it will be. But yeah, I'm going to try and do a little bit more.
Okay.
And there's, you probably want to Google this, I think, because it'll tell you the web address. There's your Google selling index. I probably said that wrong, but I think if you probably Google it, it'll probably point you in the direction. If you're logged into LinkedIn, it's a little URL you can type in, and it tells you how optimized your
how
profile
optimized
is.
your profile is, and you have to get it
Yes.
as optimized as possible, don't you?
Yes. Yeah. Some of it will require you to buy some extra stuff off LinkedIn, but you can do quite a bit for free. And I've noticed mine, since I've started doing the regular postings, leaped up about 6 or 7 points.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good, because it means now I'm getting to be seen by a lot more people.
No, it's a great platform. Like you say, I think people get overwhelmed with they have to do so much.
It is complex. There's a lot of technical to it. And it's also changing literally every single day. They'll say, oh, we're going to do X. At one point, hashtags were a thing. Now hashtags are being deprecated. Still put them in, but
not
I've
really.
been told
Not like
that.
Instagram.
Sorry?
Not like
not a lot. Not on Instagram. But I believe that hashtags are still okay from Google's perspective, because LinkedIn and Google talk. So that's another thing that's useful, where we talked about obviously doing your web page for Google search engine optimization.
Yeah.
And obviously then the Google My Business. LinkedIn's great because Google connects into LinkedIn. So if you type somebody's name, it's likely that their LinkedIn profile will jump higher
Oh,
up.
it comes up quite high, yeah, because even
Yeah.
when you type in your own, say, company name,
Yeah.
so LinkedIn pulls through. Generally, if you've got a Facebook page, that will pull through.
Yeah.
Does help in that respect, because like you say, it is just like mini web pages, just saying, here I am, this is what I do, here I am, this is what I do. So that when someone actually does Google you, you are pulled through on all these different platforms. They do help.
Yes, definitely.
Consistent posting is the best.
Yes.
But it's all about choosing your platform and choosing where to put your energy, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And the other thing with wherever you're going to go to try and get yourself known is don't spread yourself too thinly.
No.
Because I did that to start with. I thought, I'll do the Facebooks and the Instagrams and the Pinterest and all this and all that and all the other. And you just think, I haven't got time to do this.
Yes.
So I'm concentrating mainly on LinkedIn at the moment, though I'll then concentrate probably and utilize the sort of LinkedIn articles with articles on the website.
Yeah.
And then I'll put little bits and bobs into probably Instagram and maybe Twitter and maybe some Pinterest, but I'm not quite sure on Pinterest at the moment.
Yeah, no, nor me. I
So
think
it's
that's
quite me. But
yeah,
it is one that people like for finding out ideas for gardens. So it might be
yes.
one to just do as and when.
They do. I think it's the same with anything. If you are capable, as in if you like the platform and you enjoy doing it, you'll get way more out of it. So if you don't
Yeah,
know about Pinterest and you're not confident on it, you're probably not going to get as much as if you focused on LinkedIn, if that was your thing.
yeah, yeah,
So it is about being on the places that you feel comfortable, suit you, where your
yeah,
ideal clients are. And most importantly with LinkedIn, like you say, it's about connections. And I think I've gone on about this so long now. And people, some of my clients have forgotten that they've got connections in the building industry that could potentially refer them work. And they've built very
yeah.
good connections, but they've never truly reached out to them. And that's the beauty of LinkedIn. It's all based around connections.
I think the other great thing about it is, in terms of the connections, if you don't have LinkedIn, you've got to pick up the phone
Mm,
or even do an email. Doing an email is always a little bit send it off into the ether and hope. Um, I think LinkedIn's great because uh, you do directly almost feel like you're talking to somebody face to face. I know it's a bit weird. I know you're not. You're still tapping onto a
yeah.
keyboard, but I don't know. I think it's something about it that sort of says, actually, we're a decent place here, or this is decent people getting together. It works.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but yeah, as I say, through it, I've got referrals myself and got actual jobs. It's good.
It works. So what's the
It
future
works.
for you then, John?
Future for me, basically, the aim is to obviously use these platforms to help me out. But as I get there, so I've still got to actually get some of the gardens that I got designed built, but that will come. Just really to start growing the business and getting myself to be a lot more well known locally and hopefully bigger, depending how
Yeah.
it goes.
If anyone's listening and wants to connect with John, your LinkedIn is?
My LinkedIn is Jonathan Norman Venables, which is my horrendous full name, but it works.
Well, you can connect with him there, but I will put all the links in the show notes anyway. But do connect with John, and if you have any design need, connect with him. Jon Norman Garden Design. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
As always, been a great catch up as well. Thank you for coming on, and hopefully someone's taken something. There's so many nuggets you could choose from. Hopefully someone's taken one thing and implemented it today in order to move their business another stage forward, whether that's on with SEO or on LinkedIn or anything else. Just yeah, moving their business forward, because that's all I want people to do. Cool. Thank you, John, and I will speak to you soon.
Thank you. Cheers.
Wow, what a podcast. I hope you guys took one thing at least from that podcast that you can go away now and implement, whether that be adding a blog to your website, whether that be doing some keyword research and tweaking the content in your website. Perhaps it's doing your Google My Business page. For me, it's about revisiting my LinkedIn profile, redoing that profile. That it's the shop front to me. So I'm going to be looking at that over the next couple of days. So be prepared, that's going to change. If you want to connect with me at LinkedIn, it's Paula Warman, the landscapers coach, and Aura Landscapes. Yeah, I hope you found that interesting. John is a lovely guy. Like he said, I worked with him from TLC, the very early days, until I switched to the landscapers coach. He's a great guy. He's really keen to share information. So do connect with him on LinkedIn. And if you've got any questions about SEO, he really is a geek and he loves it. When you find people that are passionate about things they like he loves garden design, but he also loves the SEO, he loves the online world, he loves the digital world, and he would definitely be someone to connect with and share ideas there. He's a lovely guy and his business is just growing from strength to strength. So I hope you enjoyed that podcast. Like I say, I've definitely got some stuff to do on my to-do list. So I hope you had some pen and paper and were writing things down as you went. Now, if you want any help with growing your business, taking it to the next level, you want a support system in place, that's me. Get in touch, drop me a DM. I've got a few spaces for one-to-one coaching, and the new mastermind will be reopening in January. So if you are looking to up-level your business, get further quicker with that help, come and see me. I will see you on the next Limitless Landscapers podcast. In the meantime, get in touch at the Landscapers Coach, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye, guys.